Hey guys, Yankee here, and today I'm going to be giving my thoughts on Digimon Liberation, Chapter 1. Now, this isn't to be confused with Digimon Liberators, the currently running webcomic on the Digimon website. This is completely unrelated to that. Digimon Liberation is a Digimon fan comic with written by Hideki Tenho and art by Riza. Now, this has been going for a few years, and you can find all 3 chapters of it on Pixiv, so I'll have a link in the description to that, so you can go check it out. And this right here is something that's really cool. I believe it's the writer has an Etsy shop where he does limited print runs of the chapters and sells them. And I've been wanting to get them for a while, but I keep missing them. And I managed to just hop on Etsy one day, and copies of Chapter 1 were up again. And I read the description, and it's like, hey, this is probably going to be the last printing of Chapter 1. So I got lucky, and I managed to snag this. By the time this video comes out, I'm sorry, but they're probably all sold out. I think he said that he only printed like 20 something, so they're probably all gone. But this is just a really cool thing. So here's the size of it compared to like a standard Viz manga. Same dimensions. Obviously, it's much thinner because this is just a single chapter and not like a whole trade paperback collecting multiple chapters. But yeah, this is a really cool item, and I'm going to try and get copies of 2 and 3 if they come back into print. But yeah, I'm really happy to have this. I have been kind of putting off reading this for a while, but now that I've got a copy of Chapter 1, I sat down and I just wanted to flick through it, and I ended up reading the whole thing. So the story in Chapter 1 is we have our main character, Renamon. She has snuck onto a aircraft carrier or something floating in the sky. She has disguised herself as a Solarmon and is stealing some sort of data. She escapes back down to the digital world out of this helicarrier, and Sanglupmon, who seems to be in charge of this ship, chases after her because the information on the USB that she had was important. She put a virus on the ship or something like that. And Sanglupmon's just going to grab this Renamon that did this. Renamon is working with a group of I don't know how to describe them, kind of like bounty hunters, I guess. They were asked to go steal this information in exchange for money, and Renamon, once she brings the USB back to the rest of this team, which includes Digimon like Astamon and I think Clockmon and Gatsumon, she kind of betrays them and just I want to look at this information myself. So we get a fight between them. Meanwhile, Sanglupmon is coming down, and this first chapter does a really good job of painting how bleak this digital world is. First off, we see a couple of I think it was a Gabumon and I don't remember what it's called. Oh my god, I can't even remember the name of the Digimon it evolves into. It was, oh my gosh, it was just in Digimon Survive. It was Aoi's Digimon. The in training 2 form of that Digimon, Labramon. The in training 2 form of Labramon, it gets sucked up into their ship, and I forget what it was called, but it was some sort of weapon that just destroys Digimon, right? It sucks them in, destroys them, like Data Destroyer or something like that. So they get sucked up and killed, and Renamon is just sitting there watching, barely hanging on. And we've got this deserted town that most of this chapter is set in, where it's mentioned that this is an incredibly oppressed digital world. Renamon considered I think it was running through the sewers or something. It's well, I can't do that because the people that were in this town are probably there hiding, and so I don't want to do that. And just again, a really bleak digital world set up in this first chapter. Eventually, Sanglupmon catches up with Renamon. Astamon also catches up with Renamon, and then we have a big fight between the 3. It doesn't go very well for Renamon or Astamon. We have Sanglupmon evolving straight to Grand Drachmon and just kind of mopping the floor with them. And that's sort of where this chapter ends. All of this was really cool. The last page of this is a human who I assume is going to be Renamon's partner. We have a sketch of him at the back after that final page too, so it'll be interesting to see where they kind of go with that. I'm wondering if this will be a case of Renamon getting thrown to the real world, or this human getting thrown to the digital world. But yeah, just a really interesting first chapter that, again, builds a really interesting digital world that I want to know more of. There's constantly like hints of things that happened before, mentions of how, you know, this oppressive army let Renamons as like a race sort of continue without sort of being, I don't know, like oppressed like all the other Digimon, and how Sanglupmon thinks that's a mistake. There's references to like other battles and stuff, and just overall a super like compelling first chapter, and the artwork is really good. Like there is Renamon as Solarmon sneaking around. There's some art of Renamon itself. There is a really cool double page spread right here. Like, artwork in this is great. Just as good as something official, right? Artwork's great, story's cool. It's a little more violent than your typical Digimon story. It's not like, it wasn't like gory or anything, but like there's a scene where Sanglupmon bites a Digimon and it looks like something's actually getting bit. It's like, it's not like realistic violence, but more like scary violence. I don't know if that explanation makes sense, but first chapter, story's really cool, art's great. I'm definitely going to pick up the second and third chapters if I can find them on Etsy again. And if I get them, I'll probably make another video on this, because I think this is a really cool Digimon comic. And if you read the actual Digimon comic that's releasing, like Recollection and was it Digimon Knuckles and all those, if you're reading those, I'd say definitely check this out. It's at the end of the day, it's kind of the same thing. Digimon fan telling a Digimon story. But yeah, Digimon Liberation Chapter 1, really cool. I'm interested in checking out Chapters 2 and 3. Again, I'll have a link in the description to them. I don't know how often it updates, but I think this is definitely worth your time and worth checking out. So yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.